Take things back to 2022, and I'm watching Gary Payton II play what I believe is the most incredible perimeter defense I have ever seen in my life as the Warriors go on to win it all again. Fast forward to now, the Warriors re signed him for the 25-26 offseason, and it begged the question, which team added the most defense this offseason? Not including extensions or rookies, there were 122 players who either signed, traded, or re signed over the offseason, according to this NBA.com article, though that may need to be taken with a grain of salt. Taking these 7 players, I chose 7 defensive statistics to measure them off of, including steals per game, blocks per game, defensive rebounding per game, and getting into our more advanced stats, defensive rating, defensive win shares, defensive box plus minus, and opponent's field goal percentage. Grabbing those stats from Basketball Reference, Cleaning the Glass, and the NBA website, I found the percentile each player falls in each of those metrics, with 1 percentile counting as a point towards an overall defensive score, which maybe is a little confusing, so here's an example. Kristaps Porzingis was 15th out of 569 players in blocks per game for the 24-25 season, according to Basketball Reference, putting him in the 97th percentile of players. Taking his percentile for the other 6 stats, he has a total defensive score of 529, which in a second I'll show you how that relates to other players. Taking this for every player, I found the total for each team as well as the average per player, based on how many they signed. The team with the least total points added was Indiana, mainly based off them only signing 1 new player in Jay Huff. They had a total of 403 points. Closely behind was OKC with 429 points, also only signed 1 player being AJ Mitchell. The Bucks ended up having the most total points with 3,801 after signing 9 players in the offseason. Houston was second with 3,175, signing 8 players. And this scatter plot breaks down where teams are based off how many players they added, with most teams being in that 4 to 5 new player range. Or you can also use this one with all the teams labeled if you want. Now moving into the averages of teams, Toronto scored the lowest with 275 per player after adding only 2 players. Second worst was Washington with 311, and that's on 5 new players added in the offseason. Looking up at the top, it was the 2 LA teams who were number 1 with 465 points on average. The Clippers 5 new players and the Lakers 4. Golden State followed with 447, and that's on 5 new players. This scatter plot breaks down where teams average based off players added, with most teams falling in that 3 to 450 range. Looking into individual stats, Joe Ingles was by far the worst signing by any team this offseason defensively with 163 total points. Miles Turner was the best with 554, though Naz Reid was only 1 point behind. So what does any of this mean? Well, after running some regression models to make myself feel smarter, I kind of find it doesn't mean anything at all. Using Cleaning the Glass, I found where teams are currently in defensive rating after about 10 games into the season, as well as where they were last year to find the difference if there is any. Then, using average score as well as total score, I ran regression models against both current and the change to see if there's any statistical significance between those values. And you kind of found with a p-value of even 0.1, there isn't. So what does this mean? Is it useless to look at defense when signing players in the offseason? Well, of course not. It just shows this test itself is limited. For one, there's more metrics than the 7 I chose to define how good a player is defensively. And on top of that, stats don't always tell the full story in terms of defense or even offense. Additionally, this doesn't take into account what teams lost in the offseason. Indiana may have seen a solid pickup in Jay Huff, but they lose Miles Turner, who according to this is the best player moved around all offseason, as well as losses like Tyrese Halliburton for the season. Other limitations include how I conducted this test itself. Maybe I missed some data. Maybe this is a bad way to show who's good at defense, as well as the fact that it doesn't show rookies or players who didn't play 10 games last year, or the fact that some players might be going from 10 minutes a game to 30 minutes per game starting roles, or vice versa. Overall, it doesn't really tell you that much due to a surrounding factor of limitations. So why do it in the first place? Well, because it's kind of interesting to see. Peace.